All right, our top story on India Global. Well, in his largest contingent ever, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is in India on a two-day visit to promote a recently signed trade deal and will hold talks with Prime Minister Modi. Now, from business to fintech to defense, the talks between the two prime ministers will be wide-ranging. And in fact, they will push ahead as far as their common trade goal of $120 billion by 2030 is concerned. It is that will mean about a 3 times increase as far as trade between the two sides are concerned, and that's the big ambition as far as the two sides are concerned. Now, visas are unlikely to feature as a key agenda item, but the priority will be on business. Now, viewers, the West is increasingly becoming wary of Donald Trump's America First economic agenda. The altered economic realities that they are now facing because of the continuing Russia-Ukraine war means far more economic opportunities for India, the world's 4th largest economy. And the FTA provides the perfect starting point to what is now a comprehensive and strategic bilateral relationship, which is why the fact that the two leaders will be speaking and addressing CEOs as part of the FinTech Fest is extremely significant, and some would say fitting as far as now the evolving India-UK relationship is concerned. To talk more on this, the facets that lie ahead, what is it that we should be looking in terms of milestones? Let's get in. Jayant Krishna is a senior fellow of CSIS, former group CEO of UK India Business Council, and with him is Lord Rami Ranger, member of the UK House of Lords, joining me on the broadcast. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for speaking to me on India Global. In fact, Lord Rami, let me start with you in terms of what lies ahead. You're a very prominent member of a very large, vibrant diaspora of Indians in the UK, and I'm going to come to that in just a bit. But your expectations of the visit of the Prime Minister and the significance it lies just months after the FTA that was signed in July this year.
Thank you very much for having me. This is a mother of all free trade agreement between the largest and the oldest democracy, sharing each other's values, secular, democratic, rule of law at the heart of their governance. Both speak English, both are not stranger to each other. They had 200 years of history together, and they both need each other. One is growing at the rapid speed of 8%, given the size of the market is huge. The other one is now left the European community, needs allies, need partners, and business trade is all about cooperation, collaboration. Government of India has provided the businessman a platform for them to take advantage of it. And in business they say hidden talent is no talent. The Indian and the British businessmen have to link together, have to form strategic alliances to build a very big, powerful network and a global industry. For example, India provides a scale of production. You've seen that at the time of COVID. I am already talking to the defense secretary that we should be moving our production, defense production, to India for 2 reasons. First, our defense industry is contracting, where India's defense industry is expanding.
Right.
So therefore, it is very, very important that we link together to produce products in India, then compete with China.
That's a very important point you mentioned, Lord Rami. In fact, I was coming to defense in just a bit, that how important that will also be. Defense manufacturing, defense production. India is a very large market, and integrating there for British companies will be very important. I'm going to come on defense in just a bit. Let's get in Mr. Krishna as well on his expectations of the largest ever business delegation that is there, from universities to culture to trade, all of them wooing the India market like never before.
Absolutely, Gauri. It brings me back to my years at UK India Business Council when I was the group CEO, and we used to co-host the CEO Forum. I think this record has beaten all previous records hollow, and this is surely the largest ever visit of business people, industry captains from UK to India. And, as the UK itself has said that, this trade deal is the biggest trade deal they have signed post-Brexit. So after so many years, such an important, milestone has been achieved, and it has taken the tenure of 4 different British prime ministers, Boris to to Rishi and to the current Prime Minister and Liz Trust also. So I think it is very, very important. It has some very high-powered CEOs and chairmen and so on and so forth, from British Petroleum to Rolls-Royce to British Telecom to Diageo to British Airways.
You name the
I mean,
works.
a lot of
All
people
of them are there. But in terms of sectors, though I know this is not an FTA-centric conversation, but given the fact that the Prime Minister's visit is business-centric, in your assessment, where do you see the big fillip really likely to come? I mean, on one end, there is labor-intensive footwear, toys and others, where there's expectation. But in your assessment, Mr. Krishna, where do you think that big inflection point really lies going forward now?
So I fundamentally believe that there'll be a comprehensive review of the UK-India Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, which is already there. And other than trade and investment, I think the obvious areas will be defense and security. There will be climate change. There'll be health, education, and above all, people-to-people ties. I think that's very important. I think sectors which UK tends to gain the most out of the recent FTA are car and automobiles, whiskey, food and drinks, and so on and so forth. If you look at drinks, the whiskey and gin and these kind of products, the duty is already down from 150% to 75%,
right.
And gradually it will come to 40%. Auto from 100% to it will come to 10% under a quota regime. So I think these are the sectors
across the board. There'll be a lot of focus and fillip. Lord Rami, as two things I want to ask you. One is on the diaspora bit. I said I'm going to touch on that. 65,000 companies are owned by the diaspora members in the UK. 75% of them are highly employed, pay taxes, have multiple asset ownership. So they're a very critical part of the UK economy. In terms of the elevation of ties between UK and India, how significant the role will be for diaspora going forward? That's the first thing I want to ask you. And the second part is going to be political in nature, which is around several other aspects. When you talk about defense, we spoke about manufacturing, but the other strategic ambitions and goals that India has, do you see that being aligned to the UK government now more?
First of all, Britain is a trading nation. It has to trade to survive. We are in a small island. If we don't trade, we have to look globally. We have been looking globally right from the day one. So therefore, UK-India trade offers a great opportunity to both the businessmen to collaborate and cooperate and build a strategic alliance. We need each other. Britain is a few years ahead of India, and India needs everything from shipbuilding to aircraft to fifth generation planes, pharmaceutical, IT. As my previous speaker said, there's so much to cooperate with each other. But again, hidden talent is no talent. The Indian and British government has worked 4 years to produce this agreement. So therefore, now it is up to the businessmen to take advantage of that. You can take somebody to the well, but you can't make them drink. If these people don't come out to exhibit their product and services in United Kingdom and vice versa, then we will lose out this great opportunity, because the world is moving very fast and we have to move faster. So therefore, I urge to all you Indian businessmen and traders to come to United Kingdom, exhibit through the facility government has offered you. We are there. Indian diaspora, you mentioned Indian diaspora is one of the most successful diaspora because it's a product of secular and democratic country. We are taught to use merit, not race or religion. That's why we integrate wherever we go, and blue chip companies are run by Indian diaspora. So it's one of the most successful diaspora, and more
Lord Rami, final question I want to ask you, sir, which is that what would be that big headline that you would be looking out for in the program tomorrow and the joint statements that will come out when the two prime ministers will be addressing the CEOs and, of course, larger communities?
First of all, I would like to see that we are collaborating on the defense, because defense has become even more important for India, because, the President Trump has started to divide and rule, giving Pakistan state-of-the-art equipment just to wrong-foot India. But therefore, it is very, very important that we improve our defense by collaborating with Britain. Britain is a few years ahead, and we can together build a world-class defense industry like JCB. have now 3 factories. They started one, they can now compete with China. We can export to third world developing countries our product made half the price in India. And also space program is very
Right.
important. We should collaborate on space because, one small country cannot compete with America or European community. So we need to have partners like India which share our values, and they are not stranger to each other.
All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me on this edition of India Global.